I sure am. I love it here. Thank you for asking.
Nancy's from Florida too. We were doing a little.
Where in Florida are you? Where in Florida are you?
My internet's not working very good. I am in the Villages.
Oh, okay. I'm in Amelia Island.
We have a special
Oh,
from Florida.
yeah.
My kids just moved to Naples.
Wonderful.
Nancy, are you still playing tennis?
Absolutely.
Good girl.
At least 3 days a week.
Oh, I love it.
And lots
Natalie,
of mahjong.
Natalie, are you playing, Natalie? Are you back to playing?
Yes, I started this spring season and it's been fun. And if you call it playing tennis, but it's been fun.
Okay, I'm happy to hit the ball with you if you want.
Well,
Sounds good
come
to
down
me.
here and play, girls. We've got
Okay.
tennis courts right here.
Love it.
All right, Cantor Bernard, should we get started?
I think we should.
Okay.
So we are going to ask everybody to mute themselves for now. We will have more chance at the end to do some visiting. And we begin with Havdalah. So as Shabbat departs and the tasks of the new week re-enter our lives, bless us, Adonai. Bless your people with shalom, with peace, with wholeness, and with healing. Adonai oz le'amo yitain. Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Adonai oz le'amo yitain. Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom.
Havdalah means separation. We live in a world that is constantly in movement, from the earth spinning on its axis to the technology on our devices. And while the world continually moves, we make time to stop for Shabbat, to enjoy an island in time. But we cannot live in a world that is separate and apart. So this ritual celebrates that distinction between rest and work, between the sanctity of Shabbat and the often more mundane labors of our weekday worlds. We kindle flames to commence Havdalah, reflecting the first spark of fire we labor to create as a part of our work week. And we extinguish the flames to conclude Havdalah. As we bid farewell to Shabbat, we recognize that instead of relying on the sacred fire of holy time to brighten the world, we must rely on the sacred flames of our souls.
Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen borei peri hagafen Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei minei v'samim borei minei v'samim Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei meorei ha'esh borei meorei ha'esh Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamabdil bein kodesh lechol hamabdil bein kodesh lechol yai lai la 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 In our Torah portion, Balak, king of Moab, summons Balaam, son of Beor, to curse the Israelite people, whom he feared. But Balaam, committed to God's will, offers not a curse, but a blessing for the people. He blesses, how lovely are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. Mishk'notecha Yisrael, ma tovu, ohalecha akov, mishk'notecha Yisrael, ani berov chasecha, avovetecha, Eshtahavelecha kodshecha ve'yiratecha ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov mishk'notecha Yisrael Adonai ahavti me'on betecha umkom mishkan kevodecha v'ani eshtahaveh ve'echra evrecha li ratzon, Elohim berov chesdecha, Elohim berov chesdecha, aneni be'emet ishecha. Ma tovu, ma tovu, ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, mishk'notecha Yisrael, ma tovu, ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, mishk'notecha Yisrael, mishk'notecha Yisrael.
On the journey to fulfill the mission that King Balak has sent him on, Balaam finds himself in a narrow place with few options. He's riding on a donkey, and the Torah tells us that an adversarial angel sent by God stationed himself on a spot so narrow that there was no room for Balaam to move forward or to swerve to the right or to the left. A narrow place is the place that Israelis and Palestinians have found themselves recently and in reality for a long time. In early May, political motivations, historic adversaries, and a perfect storm of antagonism and incitement by fanatics on one side and terrorists on the other pushed Israelis and Palestinians to the brink of war, leading to the deaths of nearly 250 individuals, among them dozens of children. Another flare-up occurred this past Tuesday, but thankfully there was no loss of life. In the Torah, Balaam is on the narrowest of paths when his eyes are opened so that he can find a path forward. That is the key to healing, to open our eyes and to discover the path forward. Mistrust, fears, sometimes even hate on both sides got us here to where we are with the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. But seeing the humanity on all sides can move us forward. Like Balaam, if peace between Israelis and Palestinians matters to us, we must envision paths to peace we seek, and we must work always to actualize them with our voices, with our prayers, with our supportive organizations on the ground, both here and there, who enable that path to happen. When facing narrow paths, reasons for fear abound, but faith is the healing path. Reb Nachman taught, Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar ma'od. The whole world is a very narrow bridge, but the most important thing is not to be afraid.
Gesher tsar me'od, Gesher tsar me'od, Gesher tsar me'od, Kol ha'olam kulo, Gesher tsar me'od, Gesher tsar me'od. Ve'ha'ikar, lo lefachid klal, העיקר והעיקר, לא לפחד, לא לפחד כלל, והעיקר והעיקר, לא לפחד כלל, והעיקר והעיקר, לא לפחד, לא לפחד כלל, והעיקר והעיקר, לא לפחד כלל. העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד. כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד. Balaam is focused on his mission to fulfill God's command to bless the Israelites, despite Balak's insistence that he curse them. He is so preoccupied with the challenges that await that only the simple animal he rides can see the angel blocking his path. 3 times the animal is stopped by the angel. 3 times an unseeing Balaam beats her, until God opens her mouth to speak. "Why have you beaten me these 3 times?" she asks. Only then did God open Balaam's eyes, and he was able to see the divine presence standing before him. When we are ill, when we are in pain, when we are in mourning, we are often so consumed by our suffering that we fail to see the blessings that have been placed before us. And even when we recognize those blessings, are we truly able to receive them, to embrace them, to find healing and wholeness in them? As Rabbi Schindler just said, we must open our eyes to see the path forward, the path from fear to faith, the path from isolation to community, the path from darkness to light, and the path from brokenness to healing. We read, "In our suffering, people will offer us words of comfort. They will inquire about our well-being. Blinded by our own pain, we may feel like their interest is short and hurried, convenient and conventional. But it is not the words they offer that heal. Rather, it is the person speaking these words that brings true healing to us, for they are messengers of the divine. God has placed these angels on earth to care for us. Will we open our eyes and our hearts to the love and the divine blessing that is offered?" We read responsively.
Teach us, O God, to reach out to others in blessing and to allow us to receive the blessing of those who touch our lives, for we need one another.
We need one another when we mourn and would be comforted.
And we need one another when we celebrate and look for someone to witness our joy.
We need one another when we are in trouble and crave help.
And we need one another when we are in the deep waters of depression and a strong hand might pull us out.
We need one another when we would accomplish some great purpose and cannot do this alone.
And we need one another when we come to die and would have gentle hands prepare us for the journey.
We need one another in our defeats when, with encouragement, we might strive again.
And we need one another in the hour of success when we look for someone to share our bliss.
Author of blessing, open our eyes to the blessings that surround us, to the blessing of your loving kindness and the blessings offered by your angels who stand before us. Open up our eyes, teach us how to live, fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. We will know that you are one.
In some people's minds, today is mundane and simply June 19th. But in others' views, it is a sacred day called Juneteenth. This was the day in 1865 when Major General Gordon Granger of Galveston, Texas, issued General Order Number 3, announcing that all slaves are free. For our Black neighbors, friends, and members of our Bethel community, their Emancipation Day is today. And on Thursday, it was signed into law that Juneteenth, June 19th, is now the 11th federal holiday. As Jews, our Emancipation Day is Passover. Our freedom song is the Song at the Sea, which includes the words, Oziv Zimrat Ya Vayhi Lishua, my strength, balanced with God's song, will be my redemption. For the Black community, one of many of their freedom songs is We Shall Overcome. Cantor Bernard will, in a moment, as gifted as he is, play a medley melding an African-American signature song of emancipation with a Jewish song of emancipation that he has written, a nigun of sorts. The lyrics include We Shall Overcome, and the verses of that song are, we will not be afraid. God will see us through. We shall live in peace and will walk hand in hand. For the Black community, the journey is not complete. The wounds created by 246 years of slavery, Jim Crow segregation, racist housing policies, mass incarceration, and soul-killing poverty in disproportionate numbers, those wounds are deep. Healing is needed and happens step by step and relationship by relationship. For the Jewish community too, the journey is incomplete. Anti-Semitism continues to abound. Walking hand in hand means celebrating with our Black siblings the steps they have made, even as we work to advance anti-racism each and every day. With partnerships and with friendships, let us walk together hand in hand with faith and with fortitude to create a future of freedom, justice, and safety for all.
We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we'll walk hand in hand someday. When facing a difficult situation, it is always helpful to be reminded that there is a difference between curing and healing. The curers are an incredibly special group of people, striving to overcome whatever ailment confronts their patient. Over the past year and a half, we have all developed a heightened reverence for those in pursuit of cures. The task of healing is of a very different nature. Healing can be successful even when curing is not. The healers are also a special breed, and while they may not possess the degree of training required for doctors and researchers, they do need to possess a strong spiritual and emotional core, an open and empathetic heart, and infinite patience. And to be a truly successful healer of others, they must also be open to being healed themselves. When I was training and working as a pediatric hospital chaplain, I learned that my young patients could be an incredible source of strength and healing. During my pastoral care residency at Cincinnati Children's Hospital, one of my most influential teachers was my buddy, Zach, who was 18 months old when I first met him. For a little kid, he had an enormous, engaging personality that drew in any adult lucky enough to encounter him. I was always impressed and a little envious of his openness and his sense of humor that was easily seen in the twinkle in his eye. Although it was my job to support Zach and his family, I found strength and healing from him as I bore the challenges of providing pastoral care at a level 1 trauma and acute care facility. Today, June 19th, would have been Zach's 24th birthday. During my long cantorial career in Charlotte, I watched newborns become B'nai Mitzvah students and later graduate from college. I watched B'nai Mitzvah students complete graduate school, become young professionals, and get married. I try to take my understanding of those years of growth and try to imagine who Zach might be at age 24. I can imagine his engaging personality making him a charismatic leader. I'm quite sure that the twinkle in his eye would still be there, and he would often roll his eyes at me when I said something ridiculous and still say, "Duh, Chaplain Andy." And I know that he would still be a reliable source of strength for me as I continue to pursue my life's work in helping others. Actually, he still is. Let us pray for the strength, openness, empathy, and patience we need as we seek to be healers of those around us. Oneness at the heart of all life, may I let go of the pettiness within myself and transform myself into a conduit of love. Let me be healing and comfort for those who are tired and ill. Let me be nourishment for the hungry. Let me be a shield for those who are helpless and afraid. Let me be a lamp to those who dwell in the dark. May I be a haven for the troubled, a guide for the lost, a voice for those who cannot speak. Let all those I meet come away feeling better for having encountered me. Guide me, O God, as I reach out to others. Grant me strength of spirit as I strive to be a conduit of your love. And help me make this and each day of my life a song of praise to you, eternal source of healing and comfort. Oh, guide my steps and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps, and help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps. Oh, guide my steps and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps, and help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps. Rock me in your arms. Rock me in your arms. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps.
Healing happens through relationship. Healing happens through community. Healing happens through prayer. And like the woven wicks of the Havdalah candle, let us brighten this space with all three, with relationship, community, and prayer, as we share in the chats and in our hearts the names of those in our circle of family, friends, colleagues, and community whom we at this time lift up in prayer. invite you to share the names in the chat of those in need of healing.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Blessings start from within. May we open our minds and our eyes to see the possibilities and the positive. May we use our presence to bring blessings to those whom we daily encounter. And may our actions actualize our petitions. May we utter blessings and may we become blessings today, tomorrow, and always.
To a land that I will show you. Lech lecha, to a place you do not know. Lech lech, on your journey I will bless you. And you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lech lech. Lech lech. And I shall make your name great. And all shall praise your name. To the place that I will show you, and you shall be a blessing, and you shall be a blessing, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing, and you shall be a blessing. Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov. We invite you now to unmute yourselves and we can all connect and wish each other well.